You are probably 90 days away from a financial turning point, and you are about to walk away from it. Right now, your portfolio might feel completely dead, flat, pointless. You check it every week, nothing moves, and a quiet voice starts asking whether any of this is actually working. That voice has ended more wealth-building journeys than any market crash ever has. Because what you are experiencing is not failure. It is the most dangerous phase of the entire process. The phase where the math is working silently beneath the surface, and the only thing standing between you and acceleration is your decision to stay in the game one more month. What if the last time you almost quit was the exact moment the compound interest was about to kick in? Right now, your portfolio might feel completely dead, flat, pointless. You check it every week, nothing moves, and a quiet voice starts asking whether any of this is actually working. That voice has ended more wealth-building journeys than any market crash ever has. Because what you are experiencing is not failure. It is the most dangerous phase of the entire process. The phase where the math is working silently beneath the surface, and the only thing standing between you and acceleration is your decision to stay in the game one more month. What if the last time you almost quit was the exact moment the compound interest was about to kick in? Here is the single concept that separates the people who eventually build real wealth from everyone else. Momentum is invisible before it is unstoppable. Think about a flywheel. The first 100 pushes feel useless. You are exerting tremendous energy and the wheel barely moves. But those early rotations are not wasted. They are stored. And then somewhere around push 300, the wheel starts to carry itself. Your effort is no longer moving the wheel. The wheel is moving itself. Your job becomes simply not stopping it. Your investment portfolio works exactly the same way. Every dollar you put into a broad market index fund, something like a Vanguard S&P 500 fund, adds one more rotation to that flywheel. The dividends reinvest automatically. Those new shares generate their own dividends. The machine gets slightly more powerful every single month without you doing anything extra. The tragedy is that most people stop pushing at rotation 298, 2 pushes from the tipping point. They look at their $4,000 balance and decide the flywheel is broken. They pull the money out and restart somewhere else. Every restart resets the flywheel to 0. Every reset steals the momentum you already built. Every moment you spend jumping between strategies is a moment compounding is not working for you. The person who wins is not the most sophisticated investor in the room. They are the most boring one. They automate a fixed amount every month. They do not check the news before deciding whether to invest. They do not pull out during corrections. They just keep pushing the flywheel and let mathematics do the heavy work. But there is a layer underneath the strategy that almost no one talks about, and it is actually the more important one. Your financial results are downstream of your financial identity. Not your income, not your timing, not your stock picks, your identity. If you earn $8,000 per month, but your internal story is still, "I am someone who is bad with money," that $8,000 will find a way to disappear. Your brain will justify every dollar that leaves because spending it feels consistent with the story you are telling yourself. But when the story shifts, when you genuinely start thinking of yourself as someone who owns assets and builds quietly, your behavior changes without force. You stop needing willpower to save
because saving feels like the natural thing a person like you does. The internal friction disappears. This shift is not about affirmations. It is about evidence. You build a new identity by accumulating proof. You make the automatic transfer. You ignore the correction. You hold through the volatility. And each time you do that, you add one more piece of evidence to the file that says, I am the kind of person who builds wealth. Over months, that file gets thick, and thick files are very hard to argue against.
There is a specific moment in every investor's journey that feels like a wall. You have done everything right. You have been consistent. You have ignored the noise. And yet, the results still feel frustratingly small. The portfolio is growing, but slowly. Life is still expensive. The gap between where you are and where you want to be still feels enormous. This is the threshold. It has no signpost. It does not announce itself. It just feels like an unbearable pressure that whispers, "This is not working. Give up. Try something else." Nearly everyone stops here, not because the strategy failed, but because they ran out of patience at the exact moment patience was the only thing left required. The people who cross the threshold do not have more information. They do not have a better index fund. They simply have the stubbornness to treat that pressure as a signal that they are close, rather than a signal that they are done. On the other side of the threshold, the flywheel takes over. The dividend payment covers a real bill. The annual return equals a month of your salary. The numbers start doing things that feel impossible compared to where you started. And the outside world, watching none of the grinding that made it possible, will call it luck. You will know better. If this is the first time something about investing has actually clicked for you, the flywheel, the threshold, the identity shift, then the rest of this channel is going to be very useful to you. Every week we go deeper into the exact behaviors and mental models that separate the people who eventually reach financial independence from the people who are always about to. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Not for me, so the next video finds you before you get close to the threshold and quit. Your first $10,000 is not waiting on a lucky break. It is not waiting on the right market conditions, the right economy, or the right moment in your life. It is waiting on one thing: you staying in the game long enough for the math to catch up with your effort. The flywheel is already spinning. Do not stop pushing it now.